Clippers, and you go up against Kawhi for one game, and then after that, you're going up against George Paul, who does not show up in big games or clutch moments. You're going up against James Harden, who does not show up in big games or clutch moments, and they were able to get through that series, and then after that, playing a very young Oklahoma City Thunder team, which actually probably gave them the most trouble of any other team in the playoffs. I know the Clippers blew them out in the first game, but Dallas has lost every single game won until the Timberwolves series of Luka Doncic's young career there. And then they're able to go ahead, beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then those damn Timberwolves. We went from Anthony Edwards is Michael Jordan's son to this is the best defense seen in NBA history, Charles Barkley, and he has the audacity to call other people who didn't play basketball casuals after naming the Timberwolves the best defense in the NBA that he had ever seen. And then Luka's like, I'm going to drop 20 in a quarter, and the Timberwolves are going to drop 19. What the hell happened to the Timberwolves? Why win game 4 and go back to Minnesota if you're going to go back home just to get your ass absolutely handed to you? They're talking about it on the broadcast that they're like, this is the most shots that Rudy Gobert has taken in a first quarter. In a first quarter, Rudy Gobert. And they tried to get the ball to him more. And then Rudy Gobert was like, I've already taken so many shots that he didn't realize they were passing him the ball. And it kept going right through his hands. Like, this is why you can't have Rudy Gobert on your team, because he simply cannot do anything on offense in the playoffs. When you try and give him the ball, when he has a wide open dunk with a midget on him, he's like, oh, ball goes right through my hands and out of bounds, and it's a turnover. And then Luka decides to hit a bunch of logo threes, and that was a wrap.
That was a wrap. And you did a good job summarizing it, but I'll summarize it even shorter. The first round was the cursed Clippers. Yes, we all know the history of the Clippers. Your history buffs on the show, we have talked about the cursed Clippers before. That is a real thing. The next time, they went to daycare and went out against SGA, Chet Holmgren, and the boys over in Oklahoma City. They took care of business. They played a good game. They moved on. And then they faced the Timberwolves. And for part of the playoffs, I was super high on them. I'm like, you know what? This looks like a championship team. And you know what? Maybe in an alternate reality, they are. But definitely not in this reality, because they went through the Nuggets, and I'm like, well, if they can beat the defending champions, then surely they're going to show up against the Dallas Mavericks, against Luka, Kyrie, and the rest of the boys in Dallas. But then game 5 came. They're down 3-1, and turns out they forgot to get off the bus. They shot 32% from the field in the first half. By the time the first half was over, they were already down by 25 points. One of the most pathetic closeout game performances I have ever seen in my time watching basketball. Karl Anthony Towns, we talked about him all throughout the playoffs, standing up in big moments. Where was he in game 5 of the Western Conference Finals? And then Anthony Edwards, the man of the hour, who everyone was appointing to be the face of the league. Where was he? The whole series, he shot under 30% from the field. That's going to get it done. Everyone wants to talk about Jason Tatum, and we're going to talk about him in a few minutes. But how can you be the face of the league when you're shooting under 30% from the field? The Timberwolves, who I've always been giving loads of shit to for my entire existence. I cut them some slack, and here they are now. Back to disappoint me. Congratulations, Timberwolves. Back to abysmalness.
And it's your fault, because you kind of got soft on the Timberwolves here. You're like, okay, I like what they did with the Nuggets. And then looking back, Jamal Murray was kind of injured throughout the whole playoffs. He had a calf injury, which is the same injury Kristaps Porzingis had, and he has not played in the month of May. It is June now, and Kristaps Porzingis did not play in the month of May. That's the injury Jamal Murray was dealing with, and it took them 7 games to beat Denver. Denver did not have a bench. Michael Malone had some bizarre coaching decisions, like playing KCP, Christian Brown, a bunch of other nameless players with Jokic, and then putting Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, and Jamal Murray all on the bench at the same time in that game, which was the pivotal turning point when the Timberwolves started to go on the run. And then you talk about Anthony Edwards, who just did not show up in the series, and people are like trying to give the excuse that he was tired. Really? He was tired when he was the one before the series that's like, yeah, that's what I do. I lock people down. I lock down Jamal Murray. People don't know about my defense, so I'm going to go out here and lock down Kyrie Irving. You don't need to challenge Kyrie Irving or ask Kyrie Irving or give him any more incentive to show up, because you know what he was doing? Being passive the first half versus the Clippers, being passive the first half versus the Thunder, and then showing up. As soon as Anthony Edwards says that, Kyrie Irving was like, all right, young man, I accept your challenge. And you know what I'm going to do? Drop 30 every game. I'm going to come out and be aggressive when you already have Luka to worry about. And then you want to talk about being tired in the fourth quarter, shooting 30% of the field. I was worried about Rudy Gobert in this series. I was worried about Karl Anthony Towns in the series, which is why I picked the Dallas Mavericks to win the series, because I'm like, Karl Anthony Towns, I don't know. You had a good run, kind of broke out of your shell, but Anthony Edwards is the one that worries me. But you're going to be tired in this series and then not show up when you also have Mike Conley on your team. You also have Naz Reid. And the funny thing was with this series is this is a show of honesty. This is an alternative media show. We're not going to lie to you and be like, oh, I think after 3 games of the Timberwolves losing winnable games that were 1-possession games, 2 of them at home, and then we're going to sit here and try and lie to you and say, like, actually, I think the Timberwolves could be the first team to come back from 0-3 and go back home and win when Luka has been playing better on the road and he seems like he relishes the moment to rub it in the opposing fans' face. Like, just the whole dialogue after the Timberwolves won 1 game, and then people are like, I don't know. I think they could come back from being down 0-3. Like, if Boston didn't do it last year, sorry, Anthony Edwards, you're not Jason Tatum. You're not coming back and beating Luka. Jason Tatum was dunking on LeBron in his rookie year. You couldn't even dunk on Blake Lively or Luka Doncic, who, oh yeah, can't dunk. Or he can dunk, but he can't jump. He's not LeBron James.
Yeah, I think the media completely overhyped Anthony Edwards in this series, and he came crashing and burning because of it. So the Mavericks, we talk about their playoff run, but where did they come before this? You saw them, they acquired PJ Washington in the trade deadline, has been a massive addition for him. He had a massive Western Conference run. And then up to that point, I remember we were talking about this 2 years ago when they went and traded for Kyrie Irving. A lot of people in the media were not very big fans of this move. Part of the people in that trade included Spencer Dinwiddie, a couple of picks. We can pull up the trade as well. But